Further debate? The member for Kenora-Rainy River.
Thank you, Speaker. As the NDP critic for both Aboriginal affairs and women's issues, I'm glad we're speaking about the issue of missing and murdered Aboriginal women here today, despite the fact that this issue is somber. It is so very important to face this problem head-on and move towards positive solutions. I'll start by outlining some key facts. The RCMP reports that there are approximately 1,200 reported cases of murdered and missing Aboriginal women over the past 30 years in this country. The RCMP study further indicates that Aboriginal women are overrepresented among Canada's murdered and missing women, and that the rate of violence against Aboriginal females is close to 3 times higher than that of non-Aboriginal females. It's important to keep in mind when considering this issue the fact that Aboriginal communities are very diverse. Much like the rest of Canada, Aboriginal communities vary from one community to the next. In my riding of Kenora-Rainy River alone, we have 49 First Nation communities and a number of different languages among them. The Aboriginal leaders I've spoken with recognize this issue of murdered and missing Aboriginal women as one that will require the cooperation of all Aboriginal people, together with government leaders and police departments, including First Nation police forces, to properly address this issue. We know the RCMP has already compiled very good information, and for years before that, Aboriginal organizations meticulously compiled this information. And there's no disputing that these crimes are happening, and we are pleased that the RCMP solves many of these cases. However, for the sake of reducing these numbers, simply looking at the crimes after the fact doesn't solve the problem of the issue happening in the first place, and that is a high level of violence against Aboriginal women and girls, resulting in them turning up either murdered or missing. The most recent occurrence of a murdered Aboriginal woman to hit the media is the horrific death of Tina Fontaine, a 15-year-old girl who was found in the Red River in Winnipeg in August. An awareness campaign has surfaced online called Am I Next? To bring attention to the mounting number of Aboriginal women either killed or who have disappeared. So why is this happening? What can we do as a province for our Aboriginal women in Ontario? These are the questions that need answers. The situation is not solving itself, and these answers can save lives. I'm glad that after years of agitating about something needing to happen, that finally there is an emerging consensus that at least there is a problem. There are all sorts of ideas out there about why we are dealing with this issue in Ontario. Some people claim that it's a systemic problem. Some say it's a societal or sociological problem. Some say it's purely a crime and police issue. Some claim the problem stems from the disconnect and cultural losses resulting from residential schools. Some have written that it's about valuing people and that society and communities simply don't properly value these Aboriginal women, firstly to respect them and secondly to help them. Some say there is a problem of chronically underfunded women's shelters and crisis shelters across this province. Some say it has to do with these women being quote-unquote at risk. Some speculate it has to do with poverty, homelessness, poor health, or lack of access. The result is that Aboriginal women are too often the victim because perpetrators believe they are easy targets and no one will come looking for them. Well, as legislators, as people of this province, as police departments, as media, as people of all communities, including Aboriginal communities, we all play a part in sending the message that someone is coming for them and that these women are valued, as all women and people should feel valued, that they must be respected, they must be free to live their lives, free to exercise their rights, free to be physically safe from harm as the law states, and that all violence will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Our role in this province is to look out for all of our people. Let's be sure that we are taking action towards seeing a great reduction in these numbers of murdered and missing Aboriginal women in Ontario. Let's get to the bottom of this and turn this around. The Ontario and federal NDP believe that a national inquiry into missing and murdered Aboriginal women needs to happen so that we can examine the full scope of this issue, as only an inquiry can. Thank you.